everyone, welcome back to another episode. It is your host, Katia Vata. I hope your week went well. I hope last week was great. I know I didn't show up last week, but I'm here. I just want to say thank you so much for the love and the encouragement and just the engagement on my previous episode. And if you have not watched that or listened to it, stick with the program. You're going to miss out. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's no excuse because I put it right up here in the cards. So you can go and listen to that. And do remember, I'm available both on audio and video. So wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you listen to them, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast User, all the things, I am there. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like this video. So we're left with 3 months of the year of 2025 went by so quickly. And this is the time when like the winter arc and all of those productivity, like reaching your last goals, locking in for the last quarter, go in and they become really popular, like setting up your new year resolutions, planning for 2026 and all the things. And to be fair, that can become really overwhelming. At least for me, it is most times. But I kind of just want to touch on the reality of locking in. So if that's something you're into, locking in Unearthed edition, then do stay tuned. When a lot of people talk about it, it has become this aesthetic thing, especially over socials, where it's about Pinterest boards and vision boards and color-coded planners and having a planner. I have tried to have planners. They just don't work for me. They do absolutely nothing for me. I'm not even gonna hold you. But how you do it. If that's the kind of person you are, if that's what you need, go ahead, you do you. And you can romanticize it, and I think there's a beauty in romanticizing some of these boring, mundane tasks, to be quite honest. Some people genuinely do love ticking things off, and it's like a reward to your brain. But the truth at the end of the day is it's going to be boring. Locking in is going to be messy. It's going to look like failing sometimes and having to pick yourself up multiple times. It's going to look just, like crying. I cry a lot. And so 9 out of 10 times when I'm locking in, I'm also very much crying as I'm locking in. And it's not either or, it's both and. And what really matters is if you show up, if you do what you say you're gonna do. And when you don't, you're able to give yourself enough grace and also enough courage to show up again. And so that's just one major realization that I have learned and have started implementing in my life. Now, I'm not going to say I'm super successful and all of that. And so there is a place for learning from those who have gone above us, before us rather, and people who have done things that we may aspire to do. There are systems they have created. They are certain tips and general rules that do work and that should be implemented. But my argument or my thoughts around this is that we need to kind of take everything with a pinch of salt. And also when we're getting advice and seeing these things, we need to take what works for us and leave what doesn't. And when I say that, I'm not trying to say that in every single season, certain tips or tricks won't work. But what I am saying is we need to be wise enough and work smarter, not harder, right? You need to be wise enough to be able to look at some of the things, for example, waking up early. I know that is like a huge thing that is said across productivity and it has its advantages. But what if your day requires you to stay up late at night and it requires later nights and late mornings? Does that mean you failed in productivity? Right. And so it's just to say that I think when we're creating systems, we have to create systems. And I've learned that I have to create systems that work for me and not just for me, but also for the season that I'm currently in. And so an example of that is as a student, I had a set timetable. And so I had to kind of work around my classes. I had to work around the schedule around that. And if you're working and you're doing school, sometimes you will do late night shifts. And so you can't always have that night routine that starts at 9 p.m. and ends at 10 p.m. because that's the time you're going back home. And so creating a system that works for your personality, for your situation, and for the season that you're in a way that helps you still achieve certain goals that are attainable, but also doesn't fight with the current stage of life that you're at. I noticed that back when I was younger and I was just really struggling with discipline and consistency, is a lot of the things that I would implement were just not working with where I was at in life. At the time, I was really struggling with depression. And so, even having a goal of what I wanted my future to look like was far from what I wanted to do. If you're struggling with suicidal ideation, you understand. I didn't even really want to live the next year, to be quite honest. And I don't mean this to be morbid, but I do mean it for it to be realistic. And so, in that season of my life, for me to have a 5 year plan and all of that just really wasn't where I was at mentally. I didn't really have the capacity. The goal that I had every day, honestly speaking, was to get out of bed, was to do the things that actually made me feel better. And that looked like journaling, that looked like praying, it looked like stepping outside or having my sisters talk to me or cook, because I actually enjoyed cooking or baking or, things like that. And so, yeah, like you create systems and you create goals that are attainable in your season with your bandwidth. um, and it's okay. It's okay for your goals and your productivity levels to look different from someone else's. I think with social media, it is very easy for us to slip into comparison. A lot of it should be inspiration. It should be something that challenges us instead of us comparing ourselves. But I mean, when you are constantly kind of bombarded with the aesthetics of what a productive life with someone who's doing amazingly in their life, it should never be to take away from what that person has achieved and what they have done to get there, but it should also not put you down. It shouldn't make you feel like you cannot get that, because you can achieve that too, right? I mean, if you need an example, I'm here. I'm always going to be here. I 2 years ago, I did not think that I would ever be doing my master's. In fact, when I had finished my bachelor's, I told myself I'm done with school, because I really was not, I, I was a shell of myself. And so I will always speak about that loudly, because at the time, I never thought I was going to be doing school and actually loving life and wanting to live and even having goals for the next year or for the next 5 years. Another thing that has worked for me is that is realizing it's not about perfection. This also does come with the aesthetics of productivity and the market around being productive and success and all of that, is that it's not perfect. It's, as I've said earlier, it's messy. As I've said earlier, it's more about progress. And so progress typically looks like, if, I don't know, last week you never exercised and this week all you've done is 2 days of like gym or running, and then for the rest of the days you were just a bit active. So even active looks like walking around. If you have a job that makes you walk a lot, that is also part of keeping your body healthy. Or if you used to have takeout every single day or drink fizzy drinks every single day, and this week you've switched 5 out of like the 7 drinks with water, that is progress. And if you slip back into that and pick it up the next time, that is progress. So it's about progress over perfection. And one thing I've learned time and time again is the skill of being flexible. I think this is a skill that with our generation and with goal setting can sometimes be hard. When you have a fixed mindset on what you want to do and achieve certain things and your life doesn't go that way, it can be extremely distressing and it can be depressing and it can be very hard on you. But I have learned to have goals that are flexible. I've learned to have an idea of the life that I want and hold that with open hands. And as a Christian, what that does for me is when it allows God into these goals and into these plans. And it's not to say that I don't believe He's going to give me what I want, but it is to say that I trust that He's going to give me what I need to. Because sometimes what I want might not even be good for me, or I may not be ready for it in a specific time, right? So it's to give the Lord my goals and to be flexible with it, to know that He is ultimately the one that allows us and enables us to even achieve some of these things. And sometimes, most times, He's the one that gives us these dreams and these goals and these desires in our hearts, right? And so being flexible with the process of all of that and being flexible with the timelines, um, has really helped me, and also being flexible with myself. And I say that because seasons again, your seasons, your weeks are going to look very different. Right now, I'm currently done with my master's, but I'm in a transition period where I'm not completely done because the results are not out. But at the same time, I'm still considered a student, but I'm also not. But I can't necessarily get a full-time job because visa requirements and all the things, and also wanting to go home. So it's very transition like, and so there's just a lot of changes that are happening week by week. And so I have to be flexible with that. I mean, last week I was working, this week I'm not. And so sometimes it is kind of hard to create a routine around those kind of things and those kind of changes, especially if you are in a transitionary period of time. But it is to say, one thing my therapist did tell me was to always have like, I think this is also something I've picked up from like a lot of productivity creators, is to have those non-negotiables every single day. So like 5 or 4 or however much you need, that you're gonna do regardless of the time, regardless of the place. And also not being too rigid with it. So if you don't do it, it's okay. What matters is, again, just doing it the next day, right? And so for me, one of those non-negotiables is prayer and my quiet time. I had a trip over the weekend, and it was really hard for me to really have my quiet time because I was with people all the time. But another thing that I'm also learning with my walk with God, and it has been a huge goal of mine to progress and just deepen my relationship with the Lord, is to learn to really invite him into the ebbs and flows of life and to have a dance with him, and for it not to be super rigid where it's like, oh, so I'm gonna meet you at 6 p.m. and if you don't show up, that's it. Like, that is very important. Setting the time and the date and sticking to that is really important for discipline, but also realizing that we should never make our time with God an idol, in the sense of the time itself, the atmosphere, where you're at. Don't idolize that. It's about meeting the person. It's more about the person. So even if you are in the like wild or you're hiking, you can meet God there. He is there with you. And so you need to invite him into that. And so kind of just taking that concept of flexibility and relationship into other goals has really helped me. So even with the gym, I never really had a set time. It was mainly, I would give myself like a time frame rather. So if I had class in the morning, and I don't know, when I came here I couldn't wake up early, but if I had class in the morning, then I would go to the gym in the afternoon, even though I typically don't like that. But if I didn't have class in the morning, then I would have like a time window in which I would go in, and when there were not a lot of people. And I would also aim for that time window when the gym is off peak and there are not a lot of people in the afternoons. So kind of just like making systems that work for you and leveraging on that. And yeah, and lastly, the most important really is just do it. Stop with the excuses and just do it. Like Nike ate with that. They really ate with that. Like, just do the thing. Just do it. And this is something that I've actually found myself doing time and time again. So with my quiet time, with the gym, with applications, with whatever, I don't allow myself to overthink the process. I kind of just know this is what I have to do, and I just do it. I just start, because the moment I start, I'm kind of like setting myself up to just, it's just like, well, we're here now, so we kind of got to do it. So just do it, you know. And it's something that you actually have to do. There are no tips I can actually give you. It's just, you might find them if you like, yeah, but honestly speaking, tango bangani, do it. You know, like, just go out for the run. Literally, just wear your shoes, wear the right clothes, just go out. Like, don't even give yourself time to really think about it. You will figure it out as you're doing it. Just start doing it. I mean, if you've already decided you're gonna do it, just go ahead, do it. And over time, the more you do that, the easier it becomes, the more of a discipline it is. And sometimes your why starts to develop from there. I know I said that would be the last thing, but the reason why I'm saying that is usually people are like, what is your why? Because your why does carry you when motivation runs out, for sure. But there's some things, or there are things personally that I have found that I never had a why for when I started. I just knew that I guess that's what like millionaires do or whatever. And over time, my why has developed. It has developed and it has stuck. And I will always go back to my relationship with the Lord, because that is one of the most important things for me. Is this month, yes, things did happen that drew me closer to Him, but when I just started doing it, my why has slowly solidified and developed, and now it's just like, girl, just do it. Just go ahead and do it. You lose nothing. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah. And so that's that on locking in. Be consistent, have faith, be flexible, and remember small wins. Have fun while you're doing it. And every time I feel like I'm falling behind, or I'm not doing well, I remind myself that it's baby steps, it's short breaths. Anything and everything is progress. Again, especially if mentally you're not doing the best. And so my heart really does go out to people that are in a season where they're struggling mentally or physically or whatever it is that grace, give yourself grace. And remember that the Lord is not, He also isn't like looking down on you and saying, oh, you're lazy and all these things. Like, being a human is what it is. It's the human experience. Every day will look different. We are all different. And so embrace your individuality. Uh, Figure out what works for you as an individual and for the people around you, because I mean, we are a part of community, and so we can't be selfish. And yeah, like, leverage on that, create systems that work for you, and just do it, man. Just go ahead and do it. Start on a Thursday, start on a Tuesday, start on a Wednesday, start in the afternoon, start in the evening. Just do it. You do not need to start things on the first of the first of the first. Just do. You'll be fine. And the more you start to do that, the more you realize that you really don't need to start things on the 1st of January, of the 1st of whoever is, and on a Monday and whatever. There's a significance to that. I know it's like really nice and all the things. I get that. But just, life's too short, you know? So just go ahead and do it. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment what tips and tricks have worked for you in becoming more disciplined and productive and consistent. Do leave them in the chat, in the comment section, and let's discuss there. And if you do like this video, if you feel like it has helped you or it could help someone else, please do share it. And as always, I am sending love and light.